Hello everyone, this is Naresh IAS Academy digital platform for the IAS mains exam. This is the next part on General Studies question paper 2 for IAS mains exam. This is my commitment to cover the each General Studies question paper in 20 days through the 20 videos. So most of part I will explain and it will be helpful. You may contact for offline classes or our answer writing session. We are running at the Jaipur Center. And today's our topic is issues related to the governance, and one of the most important topic. So many questions have been asked by UPSC in the previous year. And this is my effort to explain most of dimensions of the topic. So we can analyze the topic under the three head. One is the basis of the governance. Simply I am trying to explain that how should prepare or cover every topic, in what way. Basis, we can discuss the two bases. One is the effectiveness, second is participation of the people. And what are the new elements? One is the citizen charter, and second is the e-governance. And last, the control over the governance. How can make control over the governance? So you should analyze the topic in this way. First of all, what do you mean by the governance? And what are the two principal bases of the governance? Governance in India or any other country consists of the two bases. One is the effectiveness of governance, or second is participation of the people. Effectiveness means what? Rulers must rule according to the need of their peoples or citizens. If the governance is seriously concerning the demands or aspirations of their peoples and quickly taking decisions for resolving their problems, definitely it has the highest level of effectiveness. The interaction of peoples with their governance, and governance is more sensitive with their peoples. In this way we can define the term effectiveness. So any governance if have the higher degree of effectiveness, definitely its root are in very depth and there is least possibility of any kinds of revolt or revolutions against the governance. Second basis is the participation of the peoples. How can governance include most of the peoples and how can increase the participations of peoples? If governance is targeting the demands of the peoples or their citizens, so definitely peoples itself join the governing systems and they interact each and every aspect with the governance. So we can say the effectiveness and participations are two important bases and they are interdependent, and its relationship must be maintained and it must be forever. If any circumstance this relationship is broken, or whenever it is less effective, so definitely there is a possibility of any kinds of aggressions or revolt by the peoples. So we can analyze this or these bases in the past. First example is the American Revolution in 1776. You know, America was the colony of Britishers. Britain ruled over the America, but Britain targeted their own political economic interests, and they never gave priority to the American peoples. So in the American matter, both the effectiveness and participation of American people was very weak. That's why American did revolt and they got independence from the Britain in 1776. Second example is the French Revolution in 1789. This was the same. The French monarch was engaging in luxury life and totally neutral from the aspiration or demands of the French peoples. That's why French people determined to remove his monarch, and it was resulted into the French Revolution 1789. Same in case of the Russian Revolution in 1917, where the Bolshevik or Communist Revolution took place, and in Chinese Revolution 1949, and in case of the India, the freedom struggle or national movement led by the Mahatma Gandhi and the other leader of the Congress. In case of India, we can say India, when the colony of Britain targeted their political economic goals and they undermine the demands or rights of Indian peoples. That's why Indians continue their freedom struggle, finally got independence in 1947. So these are the two important bases, and you must study in details what kind of the relations are found between them. Second aspect of governance, you must know what are the new elements. If there is weak relationship between them, so then how can we enhance the effectiveness in a governance? Definitely for the permanent governance, we have to maintain the effectiveness. So recently in 21st century, not only in India but in the different countries, citizen charters or e-governance are applied as a two administrative tools. What are the citizen charters and how they are formed, and what is the reactions of the citizens against these charters? Citizen charters mainly are the declaration of any department, ministries or agencies towards their peoples, what kinds of services are they providing to the peoples, and in what duration they will fulfill all the needs of the peoples. But in Indian matter, it have analyzed that the citizens charters have not satisfied the Indian peoples completely. The declaration through the citizen charters and delivery of services and the satisfactory level of the Indian people, there is a too much gap between them. It means the citizen chartership concept wise is good, but in India it is applicable only at the theoretical, and theoretically we are maintaining these. For example, if the education department or health department have declared these charters and to provide the different kinds of services to their peoples, if the any authority fails to supply these services in a certain time period, have the people's right to remove or dismiss, to take action against these authorities? Simply no. So then in Indian case, this is the actual position. Whenever any departments fails to the supply of services and goods in a certain time period, the authorities are not accountable for this. The main जो principle, the basic जो the The basic principle behind the citizen chartership is to ensure accountability and transparency. If the competent authority is not accountable for these services, so definitely this is not good for the Indian matters. So then you have to understand in detailing the citizen chartership, in what extent they can ensure the accountability, and accountability means what? If Indian peoples have not any authority to take any action against them, if they are not providing these services in a time, so definitely the concept of accountability with the citizen chartership is not matched or is not appropriate. Second aspect is the e-governance or the digital revolution. When the electronic units or electronic modes are applied in governance, so definitely there are so many components of the e-governance. Through the e-governance, we can take the quick decision, can analyze the schemes quickly, and public response we can get, we can have the large storage of the data, and we can minimize the corruption, leakage. Definitely these are the one aspect. Now these are the positive aspect of the e-governance. But in India, the e-governance has its own limit. One is, Indian peoples are not absolutely digitally literate. The digital uh, literate rate in India is very low. So how can they respond? So how can they be a part of the digital governance in India? And second, the digital technology simply is a tool for governance. The competent authority, if his billing power is too big, he is not interested to take the right decision for their peoples. So definitely the Indian peoples have no right to take any action against the competent authority. So the digital governance as a concept is a good, but the digital governance is applied by any human authorities, and these authorities are not too much sensitive. They have the least eagerness to their peoples. So these are the two main limits of the e-governance. And the last aspect is, how can make the effective control over the governance in India. It is required when the governance simply we have seen as theoretically. Practically we are seeing the most of the majority of the society or community are suffering from the various causes, and simply these causes are belongs to the governance only. So many peoples are not getting basic facilities. The governing bodies are accountable for these to provide these facility in a certain time period. So then how can make the control over the governance? There are some steps have been taken. One is the appointment of the Lokpal. You know, Lokpal at the central level or Lokayukt in a states. Lokpal and Lokayukt definitely they have the good philosophies and they are important plus. They can fight strictly against the corruption or to those authorities are not taking good decision to their peoples. But Lokayukt and Lokpals in India have become only a investigation agencies, and they have not complete authority. They simply investigate the matter and find out the shortcomings and makes a charge sheet. But these authorities cannot dismiss the authority, cannot stop his salary, cannot send him in jail, and most of cases these authorities suggest the government to take a strict action against the authorities, but the government is not serious. You know, in India there is a nexus between politicians, bureaucrats and the criminals, and so they have the jack check and higher level of license. So in Indian matter the Lokpal and Lokayukt are not too effective. Now you have to suggest what kind of measures should be taken to make more effective the control of Lokayukt and Lokpal over the governance. Second is the so many agency like the CBI and EDs. You know, in one sense we can say these are the agencies in the pockets of the central government. However, they make some control over the governance, CBI and enforcement director, but simply they are the investigation agency, these are the advisory councils or agencies. When they find out any person guilty, and they simply suggest the government to take actions. And the role of the non-state actors, the NSAs. The non-state actors term include the NGOs, non-profit organization, the labor unions, media organization, corporations, and in some extent they have vital information about their field, and they can provide vital data to the government, and they can request the government to take action in this regard. But in most of cases it has seen government simply theoretically assured to take decision, either decisions have not taken or the decisions were taken in a very limited. So the government's scope is very limited in case of any suggestion by the non-state actors. So for a long time it has been seen in Indian matters, the role of non-state actors is decreasing regularly. But when we compare these organizations with America, Germany, Japan or the other European countries, so definitely they are playing important role. Sometimes they are called the parallel government. A government is very serious because government through these organizations can seek the important data, can introduce the different kinds of problems of the peoples, and government can access to the remote areas. But in India, the governments generally undermines the suggestions of these organizations, and governments totally, we can say, neutral toward the NSAs. So in India, the role of NSAs have least importance, and this is the way and approach through which you try to understand the topic governance. Okay, thank you.